Rubber burden engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's light. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready for another amazing night of racing action here with the Hypershift Racing League, as it is the Space Panda 200 here this evening. The Space Panda 200 ready to rock and roll, ready to go to battle here from the always amazing, always beautiful Auto Club Speedway. As these drivers get ready to rumble, they get ready to duke it out here in this one. Lone qualifying about to come to a close here. A couple drivers still out there getting some laps in. As you see Justin Hendry. Hendry right now in that gearhead machine currently sits in position number 9 as a quick time out there on the racetrack for the rogue number 51 of Zach Wilson. Wilson to the top of the speed charts here at Auto Club Speedway. Wilson with the quick time here in this one. He is looking to start out in front. We'll see if anyone else can find that speed and put themselves into that pole position, knock him out of that top spot. Is Michael Carter back in 21st? Looks like his qualifying efforts will come to a close. Same with the W Energy Mustang ride of Christopher James back in 23rd. Brad Fulham just down across the line. He's going to jump up into 13th. There, a solid lap out of that Flying Otter 21 machine as he jumps up into 13th out there on the racetrack. Each and every one of these drivers getting their lap times in. We still haven't seen Timothy Watson or Dylan Picklesheimer out there on the speedway dropping some laps here this evening. As Sean O'Keefe, what's good, Sean? Sean coming in, showing the love, says let's go racing, says go number 36, go. As Emma also says let's go Gage, and Dalton Wicker, Dalton says let's go KD 17, cheering on Mr. DK here this evening, and KD, not DK, KD and the DW rides here this evening. The Tiny Toes rides out there on the racetrack. Always fresh, always fast as right now. Dalton Wicker and Corey Denk are both going to start side by side out there on the racetrack. Back in that 6th row on the speedway as sun is it's back up here. It is now mid-afternoon on our Sunday evening, and we are going to get ready to rumble here in this one. As Zach Wilson will start in that pole position. Jack Simpson will start to his outside in position number 2 here this evening. Starting in that third spot in the DHL number 8, that is Kent Mueller to his outside. In the 48 ride, it's the Raptor machine, that is J.J. Moore. Starting in position number, let's take a look here, number 5, that is the 90. All right, that is the 94 machine out there on the racetrack. Beautiful looking paint scheme here for Adam Bounton is to his outside. In that number 63, it's Max Cost. Starting in position number 7 in the number 84, that is Jonathan Cogswell to his outside. In the Adrenaline Shock number 9 ride, that is Al Likens. Justin Hendry in the 99 ride. Tyler Likens will round out our top 10, and that's where we see the pair of Tiny Toes machines as Mr. Dalton Wicker will start there in 11th in that beautiful under pressure lot 49, number 77 ride. The Tiny Toes machine back there in the 11th spot is Tiny Toes teammate in that beautiful number 17 machine will start there in 12th. That's Corey Dank. Then we see the 13th starter here this evening, the 21 of Brad Fulham. His outside will be the number. Let's take a look here. Looks like Aaron Spear will start to his outside in the 96. Chase Abel in the Noble American number 7 right back there. Same with Jaden Newson, Brian Fine, Michael Sheffield, Chris Sofeld, and Jeremiah Nelson rounding out our top 20 out there on the Speedway. Daryl Johnson, Michael Carter, Gage Wenzel back in 23rd with Christopher James there in 24th. Anthony Ludy, James Hudson, Drew King, Scott Shive, Timothy Watson, and Dylan Picklesheimer going to bring up the rear of the field in that Discord number 45 ride as 30 drivers getting ready to go to battle. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys help us out here. Hit that like button, hit that share button, jump into the comment section. Let us know who you're cheering for and who you want to see up in victory lane as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here in the Space Panda 200 powered by the Hypershift Racing League. As quickly onto lap L8 is Zach Wilson. Wilson looking to lead us down into corner number 1, and he is going to open up a car length between himself and Jack Simpson as he was able to quickly slide up, clear that 24 right into the outside lane, get a great run down through 1 and 2, looking to carry that momentum down the back straightaway and hoping to try to give himself a little bit of a gap back down here into corner number 3. As here comes that 24 right, sending it deep down low on the bottom side of the racetrack. The 51 running about a half a car length higher there, looking for a little bit more speed and a bit better of a run down and out of 4 there, and he will lead lap number 1 here this evening. So Zach Wilson out in front, but that race EPI number 24 Wyatt Simpson right there on his back bumper. J.J. Moore still battling door, but looks like that 48 ride is going to slide up and clear the 8 machine. Ken Mueller and J.J. Moore will jump into position number 3 on the racetrack. Mueller back into 4th is Max Cost now up inside the top 5. Justin Hendry making some early moves here as well in that gearhead number 54 ride. He's already up 3 positions and now looking to try to race his way up and inside the top 5 as he rolls to the outside of that 63 machine. Al Likens trying to follow him right on through as the 9 ride will go right on and around Adam Bounton is Bounton early in this race. Unfortunately has now slid back about 3 position. Cogswell there in that beautiful 44 Farms ride is now slid back also spots on the racetrack is Dalton Wicker, Brad Fulham, Jaden Newson up a couple spots there into the 12th position as Corey Dank, Tyler Chronister, and Brian Fine rounding out our top 10. Beautiful number 96 right out there on the racetrack. Aaron Spear looking very good. Very sharp looking line back out there on the racetrack is rolls right now just outside the top 15 as the beautiful Legion Be The One number 96 ride continues to roll down here across the start finish line looking for a good run, but here comes that Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches number 36 is Gage Wenzel moving to the front here, now up into 16th, and he is not done. He's a man on a mission trying to race his way towards the front of the field. He's already up 7 spots on the racetrack and currently sits as one of our hard chargers here this evening. Looking back through the field, a few other drivers trying to race their way to the front. Other drivers trying to hang on to it here. It's Timothy Watson all the way back in position number 26 early on. He's up 3 positions here as Looney down a couple spots there in that Adidas 95 ride. There you do see that 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer, unfortunately, deep in the field here in this one. That Discord 45 machine all the way back in 29th here early in this race. Now, we've seen the 45 ride use some different strategy and have to play some different games out here, knowing that he has started at the back of the pack, couldn't qualify there, was going to start here at the rear of the field. He knew that he had to try to come up with something, and he's hit these kind of strategies pretty solidly. A couple of these races he would have probably won if it wasn't for late race caution flags or other issues for that 45 ride. So he's definitely showing he's got a lot of speed in this car. He's just got to keep it clean, keep it rolling, and hope that the strategy works out here at Auto Club Speedway. And he may be one of those cats to look out for later in this race. Is down low. Here comes Jackson Simpson going to the point here. As Simpson down low, he is going to slide to the race lead, but it may not be for long as they're 3 wide there for the race lead for a split second. Now 3 wide for second. As up on the high side, Zach Wilson able to put the hammer down, and he continues to lead this race. Now looking to try to hold off Al Likens as Likens down low. They're door to door down out of corner number 4. They'll drag race back down to the start finish line, and it will be that 51 of Zach Wilson who will keep himself out in front. But he is starting to feel that pressure as a bunch of drivers all over his back bumper looking to try to navigate their way to the front of the field. J.K. Moore right there in that fight. Here is the Raptor 48 ride, the beautiful Lowe's machine. The Raptor ride rolls there in position. Number 3 on the speedways, Al Likens again with another good run down the back straightaways. He's looking to keep himself out in front as the ticker is stuck on lap count. Okay, let's get that changed up. Thank you for the heads up there, Hunter. Unfortunately, SDK, it works really good. Sometimes it is unreal, but sometimes it just does not automatically refresh itself. So thank you for pointing that out for us. It would have been a while since we would have taken a look at that, but we will get it done here in this one. As FP says he's cheering for SDR here this evening. Kel says, let's go Tiny Toes. Cheering on Corey Deck and Dalton Wicker. As Linda Oki says, let's go Gage. Hunter Smith says for some reason, it just doesn't refresh itself sometimes. I'm not sure why it does it, just sometimes it hates us up here in the broadcast booth. And when we have it open, I almost need another screen here. We got chat on one screen. We got our overlay stuff in the other screen, so we can click through drivers and see what's happening on the racetrack quickly and be able to kind of click through camera angles and everything else. We have that open on another screen than obviously the race on the main screen here. So we almost need that 4th monitor. We almost need another one somewhere where we can just have the stream elements and everything else up where we can kind of see it, see what's happening, see what's rolling, and make sure that everything is fine over there on that side of things, or else I just click through. Okay, sometimes I don't do that. Zach Wilson continues to lead the way here. Wilson down low, but Al Likens up on the high side, looking for a big run. It's contact back there behind him. Look out, there goes the 48 ride. The Raptor machine goes for a ride here down the front straightaway, and the caution flag will fly for the first time here this evening. Heavy damage here to Evo, as unfortunately Adam Belton going to get a bunch of damage into this one, and a few other drivers also tied up, tore up, and unfortunately now are going to have to come down pit side looking to get some repairs done to their machines. As let's take a look here at the contact, as it looked like the 24 just gets a good run here, and unfortunately for the 48 rider J.J. Moore, as he washes up the racetrack right here, he's losing all the speed and momentum, trying not to get up into the 9 ride as he gets checked up. Unfortunately, the 24 gets into his back bumper, just gets that car loose. He loses control back up the racetrack, up and into that 48 ride. Then you're going to see these two down low end up getting together here, and this is where we see some pretty heavy contact here from the 94 ride as everyone else trying to get through there. Heavy damage already for the 48 and that 24 as everyone trying to dodge these guys. You look at that 94 up, and actually that's the 96 machine. Oh no, that's the 96 as well. The 90 rides are having some bad runs out there in this one as Aaron Spear unfortunately just kind of gets stuck up there, has nowhere to go here. as the 48 sideways right in front of him, and he's just pinned it against the fence, and all of a sudden he gets quite a bit of damage. Then you see Chris Sofeld, he actually ends up running into issues here as well, and more carnage here way down and across the start finish line is Chris Sofeld. He's trying to avoid these guys as well. He's trying to not run into these guys, trying to keep himself out of trouble, and unfortunately as he goes around the 48, he spins out, hits the 45, he gets into the 81 to Scott Shive. Luckily enough, Shive able to get that car checked up, avoids hitting the outside fence, but some pretty good damage for all three of those drivers as well. As let's take a look back at Adam Boughton. We just got to find him on the racetrack here. Where is Boughton? There he is. All right, let's watch Boughton here as he's unfortunately going to see this happening. He's right behind it, sees the contact, and as it happens, he comes down the racetrack. Unfortunately, he's right over the nose of that 84 machine of Cogswell. And all of a sudden, they get some pretty heavy damage sliding down through the grass here in the infield, and all of a sudden, these cars just dig in. They get tore up. They start jumping around, hopping, and unfortunately some pretty heavy damage there for the 94, for the 84, and a bunch of other drivers here this evening. Let's take a look here at Chris Sofeld. And Sofeld trying to avoid this one, man, and just could not get up and out of the way, and unfortunately just goes around as he tries to, and that causes more carnage, more chaos here. As there you see Aaron Spear get into it. You see a couple other drivers in the fence trying to avoid it, and that's where you see the 11 ride, the Tide Pods machine, go for that loop, and unfortunately collect the 45 and the 81 ride. And what a bit of carnage here early in the races. We'll get ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go back to battle here in this one is Josh Allen. Josh Allen, oh my gosh, the Buffalo Bills quarterback, Josh Allen in the chat. What's good, Josh? I'm just kidding. What's good, Josh? How are you? How you doing, brother? How you doing tonight here? As come on, bing, big. Do it for Dale. Do it for Dale. 100% do it for Dale. As Derek says, I think I jinxed it, telling people this race was going well, and then everyone died. Yeah, unfortunately, telling some people that the race is going good, unfortunately, yeah, you get those jinxes, you get that bad luck as 8-car POV of the wreck. 8-car, he was kind of close to it, but not really too far there. He was a little bit far behind it. Let's see if we can get a look at it. I think he ends up getting into the fence here potentially a little bit as well, or just avoiding it here. Yeah, just avoids it. Luckily enough, the carnage kind of goes to the outside and down to the inside, and open gap right there. I think Dalton Wicker may need a extra pair of shorts here in that number 77 right as Wicker. I think he had the worst end of it because he didn't really see much of this happening. Couldn't see any of the contact coming from above him, and all of a sudden a couple cars just washed down right across his nose, only a couple inches away. As man, that was a close one there for them. As the DHL car looks so good on the Cup car, it does. It looks sharp out there. It looks sharp out there. Even though it's been on IndyCar, yeah, it's been a little bit of everywhere. The DHL ride looks fresh no matter where it goes out there on the racetrack. Because here we go, back to Green Flag Racing, and we'll see which driver is gonna go to victory lane here this evening. As already here in this race, 12 laps have been completed. We still got about 88 laps left to go, so a lot of different pit stops and everything else to try to put themselves into victory lane here. So pit stops, pit strategy, everything that you need to try to put yourself into victory lane about to come right at you. And some of those drivers that already have that early damage, potentially already using up those quick repairs, so if they get into any more incidences out there on the speedway, their night could come to an early close here this evening. And some great racing action, and quickly taking this race lead away, it is that 9 ride of Al Likens. As Likens out in front, leading the way here, Zach Wilson followed back to second. As here comes Jaden Newson. A new driver here battling inside the top 3 is the 40 ride, the Canadian racing ride, representing Canada here in beautiful California at Auto Club Speedway. Good to see the Canadian crew out there on the racetrack, and for Jaden running right up there inside the top 3 as of right now is Brian Fine and Justin Angry all over his back bumper. Here comes Ken Bueller in the 99 of Tyler Chronister. That 63 ride of Max Koss back there in 8th with James Hudson in that beautiful Miller Genuine Draft. Number 2 there in position number 9. Brad Fulham there in 10th as he continues to look to get that Flying Otter 21 ride up towards the front of the field, but he's got the Noble American number 7 of Chase Abel right there to his outside. Abel looking to move himself now inside the top 10 here this evening as Jonathan Conquell, one of those drivers that got tied up in that first caution flag. He's there in 12th. Same with Adam Belton, as a lot of these guys were the first to come down pit road here this evening. Same with Dalton Wicker, Michael Carter, a lot of these drivers that are outside of the top, I'm going to say about the top 11 right now, have been down pit road here this evening. So everyone else coming down pit road, top 11 have not come down pit road, as it's going to definitely mix things up, man. The different pit cycles, the different pit strategies, and how this one may play out. Auto Club, a lot of times you see it. It's great racing. It's 2 wide, 3 wide, but if we get probably more than 15, 20, maybe 30 laps of green flag racing, things are really going to settle down. We're going to see things kind of get opened up, especially with green flag pit stops on the horizon for these drivers. If they do have to come down pit road, it really seems to bust things open here. We're going to see a lot of single file, the odd battles out there on the racetrack, but we're probably not going to see this big pack, this big gangle of cars all right there, close together in proximity on the racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see how this race plays out, which way it turns. It could stay a little bit of cautions here and there and keep these drivers just lined up, packed together, and it could come down to who's just got the better tires later in this racing. Potentially put themselves up and into victory lane, or it could come down to that fuel mileage game plan for some of these drivers that could potentially put themselves up and into victory lane. As Al Likens leading the way here. Likens in the top spot. It's Jaden Newson. They're in position number 2. Fine, up and into third here as both these drivers in that second and third position find themselves up 13 spots on the racetrack, 13 positions here for both those drivers coming up through the field and not going down pit road. Definitely a great break for them, as we do see some issues here for a couple drivers deeper in the pack, and I don't think we saw the caution flag come out for it. We're going to take a look back and see what happens. It looks like James Hudson in the 2 ride and the 84. Both gonna get tied together. Actually, one just kind of blinks, disappears, and all of a sudden the 2 ride is just turned around here. That is the issue with blinking here at the racetrack, is for the 84 machine of Jonathan Cogswell. Cogswell, really nothing he could do right here. There's contact to the outside fence as the DHL ride gets into it, and then this Miller Genuine Draft ride kind of disappears, gets a little contact there as the 51 machine of Zach Wilson trying to avoid the 8 ride who gets up into the outside fence. They all make some contact. The 2 goes for a spin down through the grass, and the 84 down through the grass here as well, hoping to keep that nose clean and not get too much damage here on the 84 as he'll rejoin the field, trying to clean those tires off now. And unfortunately for that 2 ride, though, he's still parked down in the infield, and as everyone else rolls by and he was down off the racetrack, no caution flag out there on the speedway, and a heartbreaker there for that number 2 machine, as he's really going to have to hope for a yellow flag and try to get himself back into the action here this evening. As unfortunately we did see Jack Simpson. Simpson has already taken his car off of the speedway here. Jack Simpson, who got tied up in that first caution flag, unfortunately has taken his car back down and onto the hauler here. Looks like his night has come to an end. Scott Scheib was down pit road for multiple laps. I do believe he's probably about 7 laps down right now as he rolls back out onto the racetrack for the 96 ride of Aaron Spear. Spear also down he's down about probably 6 laps himself here on the racetrack, so that's definitely pretty tough right there. As Hunter says, 2 car went through a portal, laugh out loud. Yeah, he definitely went through a portal. He definitely found the ether right there, and all of a sudden just kind of disappeared for a hot second, and all of a sudden just ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time out there on the racetrack. As Brian Fine continues to lead the way. Fine able to hunt down that 9 ride of Al Likens and take that race lead away, as Likens now slides back into second. Kent Mueller starting to put the pressure on here, and so these drivers that are yet to come down pit road still holding strong here up at the front of the field. Our top 5 yet to come down pit road here this evening. And then we see the first car that has come down pit road there on lap number 10. It's the 77 of Dalton Wicker. Adam Belton there in 8th also came down pit road during that first caution flag out there on the racetrack. He rolls there in 8th is Tyler Chronister, a driver who has yet to pit, rolling right there, battling with him. Same with JC has not come down pit road. Same with that 63 machine of Max Cost, and Unfortunately for a couple of those other drivers that haven't come down pit road, for Brad Fulham and Zach Wilson, both drivers have slid quite a ways back here, especially for Zach Wilson, our pole sitter in early race leader. This road machine has now fallen all the way back into the 18th position, and after that contact down the front straightaway here, it looks like that car is struggling. Definitely tight out there on the racetrack and just trying to get this thing pointed back in the right direction, trying to keep it rolling and hoping to see a caution flag where he could potentially get some repairs and use some of that strategy to his advantage out there on the racetrack. Is out in front. Brian Fine continues to lead the way. Mueller there in second with Al Likens right there in position number 3. As Mueller there. The 8 ride rolling perfectly in that DHL machine up and in position number 2. Probably one of the better runs we've seen out of this Camry, yeah, it's a Camry. The Toyota Camry number 8 machine out there on the racetrack as Kent Mueller rolls there in position number 2, and hopefully somebody got that Mueller reference as someone's got to know it. Someone's got to know it. If you know that reference there, the Mueller reference, hopefully someone jumps into the chat and lets me know. As Wicker continues to push his way up towards the front here as that 77 line now slides inside the top 3. He's worked himself around Al Likens. Likens back to 4th, but he's got another driver with the potential fresher tires and more fuel in the tank. It's the 94 ride of Adam Boughton. Boughton right there now back up inside the top 5 after getting tied up, tore up in that first caution flag. Got some work done and able to get that car rolling here once again this afternoon, as he continues to keep on rolling, keep on battling here and looking to race his way back up towards the front of the field. Is down low. He's going to make that move around the 9 right as the 77 of Dalton Wicker looks to make the move around the 8 machine, and they are inching closer and closer to our race leader, Brian Fine. It seems like drivers that get out in front, they can't stay there for long. I'm not sure if things start to get away from them, if things start to fade here, or if they're just pushing these cars too hard out there on the racetrack. As you do look a little deeper in the field here, you see that number 45 right. We talked about him on the top of the show. Dylan Picklesheimer, Hannister at the back of the field, and for that Discord, number 45 right, the Monster Energy Machine now up inside the top 10. He rolls there in 7th, and Gage Wenzel right there with him as a little door bang down the back straightaway between the 40 and the 54 here in this one. As you do see Corey Dank right there as well. Corey having a great run in that Tiny Tones ride, rolls now into the 8th position as Gage Wenzel there at 9th. Michael Carter now up inside the top 10, rolling to his outside. The 1 machine of Michael Sheffield, Tyler Chronister, Christopher James, Zach Wilson, and Chase Abel are top 15 out here on the Speedway as Max Cost. Al Likens all of a sudden all the way back here in 17th and continuing to fall off the pace here, continuing to slide farther and farther back here in that number 9 ride. Unfortunately, after leading some laps here, having a good run, all of a sudden he is struggling very heavily here in this race and falling farther and farther back here behind the rest of the field. As Dalton Wicker now going to take that race lead away as Wicker out in front as Dalton Wicker takes the race lead. Adam Belton right there with them in position number 2. Fine slides back into 3rd. Kent Mueller there in 4th as here comes Justin Hendry. Here comes that 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer, and a lot of these fast cats that were already down pit road really starting to shine here out on the racetrack as they are laying down some absolutely amazing lap times here and just clicking them off one at a time here this evening, running virtually about half a second faster lap times than the drivers that have yet to come down pit road. And for those drivers, definitely not the spot they want to be in, as Brian Fine could be a sitting duck out there on the racetrack. The 54 rider Justin Hendry doing a great job on saving tires there in that first run, as the 54 ride did not come down pit road as well. And for Hendry, he's sitting pretty out there, continue to find some speed, continue to find his way up towards the front of the field, was just trying to follow that 45 rider Dylan Picklesheimer around a lot of these drivers, as you see Gage Wenzel right there as well. Gage trying to keep on racing his way to the front. He's now worked himself around Corey Dank out there on the racetrack and trying to put himself up inside the top 5. Here comes Michael Carter. Unfortunately, Jaden Newsom now back to 9th. Ken Mueller there in 10th. And then we see Tyler Chronister back in 11th. Zach Wilson, though. Wilson starting to find a little bit of extra ground out there on the speedways. This Rogue 51 ride fell back quite a ways early in this run, and now all of a sudden he is starting to step up his game and start to race back towards the top 10 here on the speedway. Now, I'm not sure if other drivers are starting to fall off or if this number 51 is just starting to pick up the pace and continuing to roll his way up to the front of the field here. Once again, we'll have to wait and see as the strategy continues to unfold here this evening, and some great green flag laps once again as we are now across the line here the next time. Officially 30 laps into this race, 30% of the way through, 70 laps and 70% left to go here in this race. And for the 94 ride, he's able to jump out in front, steal this race lead from the 77, and there you go, 30 laps down, 70 laps left to go here from Auto Club Speedway. And there's the caution flag, as the caution flag will fly here in this one. So the second caution flag of the day going to be displayed here this evening, as it looks like some more contact a little deeper in the field here. Let's see if we can take a look at it and see what happens, as a bunch of drivers running into problems right here. There's a lot of cats that are going to have some issues out there on the racetrack, and I do believe we're going to see Michael Carter get tied up in this first here, as here we go. Scoreboard maybe a little bit in the way, as I do believe he's going to get some contact here. Justin Hendry. I think Hendry's just going to wash up the track here. Unfortunately, going to slide up into the 18 ride, puts him into the fence. Corey Denk in there getting some damage, and then all that contact for the 18 ride just damages that car. He's trying to get it down pit road, it looked like, and then comes down into the 40 ride of Jaden Newson. Back up the track, Corey Denk nowhere to go. Slams into him again, and heavy contact there. The 18 ride almost going airborne out there on the racetrack, and now still trying to get this thing checked up, still trying to get this thing pointed back in the right direction. And unfortunately here, as he's sliding down the front straightaway, more drivers just going to get tied up and tore up here, as a bunch of drivers having to go down onto the infield to avoid him here, as we did see the number 63 and the 88 ride here. So Christopher James going to get tied up in it. Max Koss also getting tied up in as they try to get down the track and avoid that number 54. No, not the 54. The number, I can't remember now. The 18 ride in. There's that contact again, and man, that's a heavy hit there. Probably the worst end of that deal, and you do see the 7 ride end up getting some damage there as well. Chase Abel also going to get tied up in that one. The 4 ride of Daryl Johnson also getting some contact there, as, man, things just happen quickly here at Auto Club Speedway, and unfortunately a bunch of drivers absolutely tore up here. Now they're going to be headed down pit side, hoping to get some repairs, hoping to get their cars fixed up and back out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, though, he could be down there for quite a little while. So let's take another look at it here as Hendry gets up the track into this number 50, or the 54. I guess up into the 18, and that's what gets this whole thing started. Contact bounces around, comes back up the track, slides back down the speedway. Now we're going to see Christopher James and the 63 get tied together as they get tore up here. They're going to collect the 7 and the 4 ride right there as well. Heavy damage there to the W Energy 88 ride is our second caution flag. Another one with a bunch of carnage out there on the speedways. We're going to get a quick break in right now. We're going to get a quick word in here from our newest sponsors here on Hypershift Racing League. and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing here at Auto Club Speedway as the 94 of Adam Belton continues to lead the way. Now that lap time we did see there during that caution flag, everybody had come down pit road. Nobody stayed out, so all the different pit cycles and pit strategy unfortunately kind of out the window now for these drivers. As the green flag back into the air, everyone on the same pit strategy now, biting potentially tires or anything else. Fuel is now going to be the exact same here for every single one of these drivers out there on the speedway, but tire wear could be a completely different scenario. Some of these drivers may have elected not to take tires there. Some of them may have taken 2 tires or 4 tires out there on the racetrack, trying to guess and bide their time and hope to see another quick caution flag and then throw them on and have the better tires out there on the racetrack. We'll have to wait and see how this one plays out and if there's anyone taking some gambles out there on the racetrack. As Belton out in front, you do see Gage Wenzel. All the Wenzel fans in the house, get ready to cheer as your driver racing his way to the front of the field, as we did see Dylan Picklesheimer. What in the world just happened to Picklesheimer? As he came out of corner number 2 here, this car just took off down the racetrack here. I'm not sure if there was contact. This looks like he gets loose, and unfortunately it's loose in that rear end. Car shoots down onto the apron. Luckily enough, he's able to catch it, keep that car rolling, and keeps on driving as he rejoins the field here, as that could have been a whole lot worse in a quick hurry for that 45 run. Unfortunately, that little bit of a spin right there did send him deep into the field, and now back into the 21st position here for Dylan Picklesheimer. Definitely not the spot that he wants to be. As Al Likens back here now as well. Corey Tank there as well in that 17 ride. We did see Chase Abel still down pit road in that Noble American number 40 machine and 70 ride, and unfortunately we haven't seen him roll back out there onto the racetrack. Crew is still going to work trying to get that thing repaired for Michael Carter. Looks like he's taking his car right off the racetrack. Same with the 88 of Christopher James out there, is also taking his car off the speedway. The 96 of Aaron Spear, he continues to keep on battling here and continue to hopefully look for some lucky donks, some wave rounds, and looking to try to race his way back onto the lead lap here this evening. Scott Shine looks like he has loaded up his ride here, so we have virtually lost about 4 drivers already in this race, and potentially 5 with Chase Abel still down pit road. So they're dropping like flies out there on the speedways. Here we go. Brian Fine back down low, slides up in front of the 94 ride and looking to race him, battle him back to the start-finish line. Is Fine looking for the race lead? Is Adam Belton going to stay down low? He will beat him back to the line, and Belton will stay out in front. But right there with them, Brian Fine and out Zach Wilson racing his way back up into 3rd here with Gage Wenzel there in 4th. So Wenzel into position before now has that track position, has a little bit of fresh air onto the hood of that Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches number 36 machine with Tyler Chronister back there in 5th. Jaden Newson there in 6th with Dalton Wicker, J.J. Moore, Jeremiah Nelson, and Brad Fulham rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack. Is that treetop 35 right of Jeremiah Nelson almost making a little contact there with that number 48 right as the Raptor machine. Almost got some pretty serious damage right there. Almost got absolutely tore up out there on the speedways. It's a little too close for comfort, I think, for J.J. Moore, but he'll continue to battle as he's looking to try to rebound from getting tied up in that first caution flag. The damage that he got from that one, now looking to try to rebound and race his way back up to the front as he did see Adam Belton right there bounce it off of the outside fence. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage there from the 94 right. He'll continue to keep on battling as now he'll look down to the inside here of that 51 right of Zach Wilson. Wilson looking for a big run though down the front straightaway, looking to try to get to the outside of Gage Wenzel. They make a little contact. Look out as Wilson gets a piece of the fence that time. So Wilson getting a big block right there from Gage Wenzel. Wenzel saw he was coming, was not going to give him that outside lane. His teammate just drove right on around him and stole that second spot away from Gage Wenzel. Wenzel looking to hang on to it. Now you do see a big slide job right there of the 94 as coming out of corner number 2 just slides up over the nose of that 51. Well, Wilson going to stay there in 3rd now for Adam Belton, but we'll see how long that lasts as here comes Tyler Chronister. Here comes that Canadian racing number 40 ride of Jaden Newson. J.J. Moore, Jonathan Cogswell, and Dalton Wicker now back up into the top 10 here, as well as that beautiful 84 of Cogswell, the 35 of Jeremiah Nelson, Watson. Timothy Watson from deep in this field. He's now up into position number 12 here as Brad Fulham down to his inside, and Dylan Picklesheimer looking to try to race his way back up in front as well. Picklesheimer, after having that incident down at a corner number 2, fell all the way back into about the 21st position on the racetrack, has now gained about 7 or 8 positions and finds himself rolling in 13th out there on the speedway. Sheffield and James Hudson right there behind him in that 95 ride of Anthony Ludi, back in 16th with Daryl Johnson, Ken Mueller, Justin Hendry, Drew King, Max Kost, Chris Sofel back in position number 22 in the 11 ride, and then we see Al Likens there in 23rd, Corey Dank there in position number 24. Still heavy front end damage here for that Tiny Toes ride as he rolls back there in that Blue Magic Machine in position number 24. Aaron Spear now into the free pass position here, is luckily enough no early caution flag. He's able to gain enough laps right there and move around. Chase Abel is able just rolling back out onto the racetrack here. Unfortunately, he's going to be a couple laps behind that 96 right of Aaron Spear, and it's going to trap him down here multiple laps. And now for Aaron Spear, he's just got to hope for a bunch of quick caution flags, a bunch of wait for rounds and lucky dogs, and trying to race his way back into contention here this evening after early in this race, going down multiple laps here, but still in this fight, still not giving up, continuing to duke it out here lap after lap after lap, trying to get every single thing he can out of this race, whether it's knowledge or a little bit of a learning experience, or whether or not it's just for fun out there on the racetrack. He's not giving up even after having some serious damage out of that first caution flag on lap number 10, having to get this thing repaired, and all of a sudden going multiple laps down, just trying to keep himself out there on the racetrack and having a good time. As Belton out in front, Adam Belton, Evo back to the front of the field here in this one, as he had worked himself back around Brian Fine. Gage Wenzel there in the third, and Tyler Foster now finds himself in position number 4. JJ Moore looking for more as he rolls here in that 5th position. JJ now up inside the top 5 here once again, so a great rebound after getting tied up in that first yellow flag on the day in the 48 ride. Now finds himself here in 5th. Zach Wilson there in 6th with Jonathan Cogswell, Jaden Newson, Dalton Wicker, and Timothy Watson rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. We'll have to keep an eye on this race lead, as it always seems like the race leaders find their groove. They find their way to the front of the field. They look like they're blazing fast, and then all of a sudden, once they get that clean air, that fresh air onto their nose, it just seems like their cars start to just fall off, and they start to fall farther and farther behind, and all of a sudden, they are all of a sudden getting shoved back, a couple spots on the racetrack, and go from our race leader to all of a sudden being a little deeper in the field. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. If Belton starts to fall back once again, is a little bit of a door tap right there, as both these drivers battling hard for the race lead, and it is going to be Brian Fine who takes that race lead away from Adam Belton. Belton all over his back bumper, though, is a big slider right there from that 57, just clearing the nose of the 94. Gage Wenzel there in third with Tyler Chronister. Zach Wilson, our top 5 after on the racetrack, is there 3 wide back here for a split second down through quarter number 2. They were 3 wide battling here for the top 5 after on the racetrack, and it looks like that high side is going to prevail, and J.J. Moore will move up inside the top 5 here once again this evening. As out in front, Brian Fine continues to lead the way, and these drivers continue to click these laps off as down across the line. 46 laps going to be completed here this evening. So 46 laps already done here this afternoon, and these drivers with some good green flag laps out there on the racetrack just continue to run a torrid pace out there on the racetrack, laying great lap times down lap after lap after lap. They are inching closer and closer to that halfway point of this race, and for a lot of these drivers, that halfway area is a key one, and just knowing that you're halfway in, you're halfway to go. If the first half was good, then you just hope that it's going to be good all night. If you had a bad first half of the race, you still got time to rebound. You still got enough time to try to bounce back and race your way into contention, gain a few spots, and maybe get yourself a solid finish here on the evening. So each and every one of these drivers looking for that little bit of a mental reset here at that halfway marker here this afternoon as the 57 ride of Brian Fine continues to lead the way and Bounton hanging on to second here with Gage Wenzel right there in third as you do see some three wide down the back straightaways. That DHL number 8 machine again, Mueller kind of shoved into the middle there, and unfortunately for Mueller, gonna slide a little bit farther back as here comes Darrell Johnson down to his inside. Here comes that 21 of Brad Fulham in a few of these other fast cats deeper in the field. You look at Chris Sofeld, Justin Hendry, Max Koss back there in 21st, Drew King back in 22nd, Al Likens, one of our early race leaders back there in position number 23, Corey Dent back there in position number 24 here, and Corey quickly could become the next driver to go a lap down out there on the racetrack. Still has that pretty heavy front end damage here on that 17 ride. The crew did not have enough time to get it repaired, and unfortunately it's up there half a lap away from going a lap down out there on the racetrack. He's half the track away here, multiple seconds. I do believe he is back about 21 seconds behind our race leaders, and these guys are running virtually 41 laps out there, so it could be a short run here for Corey Dent before he sees some more competition on his back bumper and just sliding right on around him and putting him a lap down out there on the speedway. No, luckily enough, he's potentially could be the only driver a lap down for quite a while for Aaron Spear. That is a heartbreaker there for him, as Aaron definitely needed another caution flag here, a few more caution flags quickly without anyone else going a lap down where he could get those lucky ducks himself and try to get back into the battle here this afternoon. As down across the line, it is halfway in and halfway to go here at Auto Club Speedway as the Space Panda 200, powered by the Hypershift Racing League. Halfway in, halfway to go, and here you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. Crank up that volume. Cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming, live from Auto Club Speedway. As the caution flag is going to be displayed here, the Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up curse here definitely in full effect here this afternoon as the yellow flag going to come in during our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up out there on the racetrack. So the curse continues here this evening as we will take a look back and see what happens out there on the racetrack, because it looks like Zach Wilson and James Hudson potentially getting tied together here in this one. Let's take a look at it and see what happened out there on the racetrack. Here's Zach Wilson, and there you go. Contact between Wilson and that 2 rhyme, but it starts a a little farther forward, as it looks like James Hudson gonna run into problems here himself. He's battling here, trying to get to the back bumper of the 40 ride. It just looks like they kind of get a little 3 wide right there for a split second. Unfortunately, shoves the nose of the 40 ride. So watch this 8 machine as he comes up the racetrack from down low. He's going to come up over the nose of Jaden Newson. Newson having to get onto the binders and move up the track just to try and avoid hitting that 8 ride, and unfortunately gets the 2 bent out of shape right here, and as he loses a ton of momentum and speed, the 51 setting it in there, unfortunately not realizing these drivers are going to be checking up that much, and gets into that 2 ride. They get tied together. They both go around and go for a spin here on the front straightaway. You see Brent Fulham and so many of these other drivers trying to avoid all the contact, all the chaos, and unfortunately we do see the 2 end up into the outside fence here as he ends up backing it in there pretty hard, pretty heavy damage there for that Miller Genuine Draft Machine. The 63 of Max Cost having to make another big move right there to be able to avoid running into both of those drivers. Let's see if we can take a look here from Max Cost's perspective in this 63 machine, as he definitely had his hands full here watching this chaos out of the front windshield. As there we go, he sees the contact, sees both drivers go down to the infield, and they both start to come back up the racetrack. He's just trying to get onto the binders, get checked up, slowed up, and trying to figure out where he needs to be, where he needs to go, as both these drivers all of a sudden start to roll back up the track, man. You don't know what they're doing, where they're going, how this one's going to play out for you. You're just hoping for the best. You don't know if the 51's going to keep on coming up or if the 2's going to come back down. Luckily enough, he's able to make that lefty and then our little Randy right there and keep himself out of the chaos and keep on rolling out there. Good piece of driving for that number 63 machine. Now let's jump on board with the number 51 of Zach Wilson. See what Wilson sees here as this contact is made and as everything's happening here just outside of his prerogative here and just in front of him, and all of a sudden the 2 right jacked up, kind of comes down, they make contact, they get tied together again, and all of a sudden he goes for a couple spins. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage there for the 51 right. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Kent Mueller, as Mueller ended up getting pretty solid damage, pretty solid contact there, and for Mueller, he is still down pit side trying to get this car repaired, trying to get back out there onto the racetrack, and we will get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing again. Everyone did come down pit road right there, so fuel strategy, fuel mileage kind of out the window again. No really good opportunities to gamble right there. Coming down pit road earlier, trying to stay out a little longer than everybody, and unfortunately, crying faces up in the chat. We see that caution flag fly, and now we get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here. Just through halfway in this race, and we're inching closer and closer to that checkered flag here in a quick hurry. As the lights are off, the official safety vehicle here at Auto Club Speedway, we'll get ready to go back to our beautiful crank it up out there on the speedway. We'll get ready to go back to battle here, as let's jump on board here with the 45 ride of Dylan Picklesheimer for this restart, as we'll continue with our Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here at Auto Club Speedway for the Space Panda 200, powered by the Hypershift Racing League. Let's crank it back up. Back out here in this one. caution flag back out there onto the racetrack here once again as the Peacemaker Gaming break the caution flag curse is going to continue here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Man, that curse is real, and here we're going to see some contact down low. Looked like Jaden Newson, the first driver to run into some problems here as he's down rolling the bottom lane here. He didn't want to, though, as Zach Wilson down low sends it in there deeper. Ends up getting into that left rear quarter panel of him, though, and unfortunately, all of a sudden, oh, man, just gets up into him again, turns him up the racetrack, car contact into the outside fence. But let's take a look back here at this contact as the 51 just sends it in there deep. And unfortunately, as he does, the 40 ride roll in the middle of the racetrack here, just trying to keep himself just around that first little bit of rubber line right there. And unfortunately for the 51, he gets a piece of one for the 40 ride at Jaden Newson, doing a great job drifting it through the corners here at Auto Club Speedway. Still has that 51 right on his bumper there. Finally gets off him. He gets that thing kind of straightened out, but all of a sudden onto the apron, trying to roll this car back out onto the racetrack. The thing is just unstable, unsteady, still drifting. All of a sudden it just overcorrects, washes back up the racetrack, back over the nose of Zach Wilson, and then ends up into the outside fence right here. A big hit for that 40 ride as the Canadian racing machine gets some heavy damage, and here comes the 2 ride just to kill him here this afternoon. Hopefully Jaden is a-okay after that big hit out there on the racetrack. That's how quickly it happens. This real time, man, that is such a vicious hit there. Hopefully both drivers are okay as, man, all of a sudden for James Hudson, after getting tied up in that last caution flag here and having some issues already on the day for himself, this one just gonna hurt even more after getting that thing pretty much repaired and back into one piece. All of a sudden he's just gonna end up driving right into the side of this 40 ride. His issues down low, he watches up the racetrack, and then, oh man, that is a big hit. Let's see if we can take another look at. Let's see if we can take another look at the perspective here for the number 40 of Jaden Newson. As Newson, let's take a look all the way back here and watch the initial contact here between him and the 51 ride as he rolls it into the corner, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's the contact. Drifting it. Gets it straightened again, now has to drift it again down the apron. It just hooks back up and into the fence, and then, oh man, just gets absolutely T-boned out at corner number 2. Heavy damage, heavy hit right there for that 40 ride, and hopefully that driver is a-okay. Hopefully the safety crew has gotten him out and back down into the infield care center and taking a look at here as get them all stacked up. We'll get them racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in this one, as we'll get a quick word in here from our sponsors over at Juicy Spiders. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go, back to Green Flag Racing. Just under 40 laps left to go here from Auto Club Speedway. As drivers back up to speed, each and every one of them looking to try to race their way to the front of the field, as the 57 of Brian Fine looking to try to keep them all back there at bay. As we will continue with our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. Alrighty, caution flag on the racetrack here is, here's some contact. The 35 right, unfortunately going to get into that left rear quarter panel. The Helveline number 28 machine of Timothy Watson. Watson trying to save it, trying to keep that thing pointed the right direction, but unfortunately the car just kind of gets ran over again as the 9 right of Al Lykin sends it in there. Ends up bouncing through that 28 ride, comes back up the racetrack into the 99. That Walmart machine of Tyler Chronister, nowhere for him to go. Heavy damage there for Al Likens as the Helveline machine ends up with some very serious damage on that car, and unfortunately for Tyler Chronister also getting tied up here in this one. Heavy damage for him as well in that number 99 machine. Never a fun time when you get tied up and other people's issues in. Right there, that's the result. He's kind of finding his P's and Q's, trying to keep himself out of the chaos out there on the racetrack, and all of a sudden it just jumps up the racetrack and finds nothing you can do about that one right there if you're Tyler Chronister, and unfortunately that is racing in a nutshell right there, as we do see a lot of drivers head down pit side. A bunch of drivers did not come down pit road. So some different strategies being played out here for a bunch of these drivers, as Michael Sheffield Adam Boughton, Kent Mueller, Corey Denk, and Dalton Wicker did not come down pit side. They're going to stay out on the racetrack here. So potentially trying to use a little bit of pit strategy, tire strategy, or fuel strategy to put themselves up and into the winner's circle here this evening. As my boy Big Bacon, what's good, Big Bacon? Casey, brother, coming in, show the love here in this one. How are you, Big Bacon? Big Bacon Gaming coming in and inviting their viewers to join your stream. Big Bacon, brother, I appreciate that, brother, with the raid coming in, showing the love over there on the Facebook live stream, brother. I appreciate that, showing the love here in this one as each and every one of these drivers looks to continue to keep on racing their way to the front of the field. Everyone looking to try to pick up the win here this evening as the Space Panda 200 here this evening has put on a heck of a show. A lot of good, hard fighting out there on the speedway. A lot of 2-wide, 3-wide racing out there on the racetrack. None of these drivers backing down or giving up out there on the speedway. We'll keep on battling. We'll keep on racing here as we'll get another look here at some of these drivers up and down throughout the field as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. We get ready to duke it out again here in this one. It will bring a close to our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up, and we'll get the webcam turned back on. There we are. As here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get them stacked up 2 by 2 by 2 and get ready to go back to green flag racing. As Michael Sheffield, Adam Boughton, Corey Denk, Kent Mueller, Dylan Picklesheimer right there in fifth, actually in the 6th position. Dalton Wicker there in that beautiful lot 49.77 ride. What was there in position number 5? As Picklesheimer in the Discord right there to his outside. Then we see the Tom's Tasty Taters machine. That is the 36 of Gage Wenzel. JJ Moore going to round out our top 8 on the racetrack. And then we see that 57 of Brian Fine, the 34 of Drew King. Justin Hendry, Jeremiah Nelson there in position number 12, and then we see Daryl Johnson, Jonathan Cogswell, Max Koss, Chris Sofeld, Brad Fulham, Zach Wilson, Al Likens, our top 19. Tyler Chronister still down pit road. Unfortunately here for Chronister, he is scored back in the 20th position. Looks like he may be down pit road here for an extended period of time, as it looks like Timothy Watson has already taken his car off the racetrack. Aaron Spear continuing to battle out there, even though he's multiple laps down here in this number 96 ride. He's now gained quite a few positions and up into position number 22. James Abel sticking with it out there on the racetrack as well. Has not came down pit road for too long and continues to race even though he's multiple laps down. We did see the 40 ride at Jaden Newson taking his car off the track. Same with James Hudson. We do see Scott Shive rejoining the field here in the 81 back out there on the racetrack, even though he's about, I don't even know, 17, 18 laps down. He's been down and off the racetrack for a lot here this evening. But here we go. Nonetheless, we're going back to green flag racing as Michael Sheffield, our race leader, gets a absolutely amazing restart right there. Quickly onto the loud pedal, looking to keep on pulling away from everybody else as the 6 become the number 1 right out in front. As we see a couple of drivers get loose down at a corner number 2. They're using up the entire track here as we're about 4 or 5 wide. Now the bench straightaway here at Auto Club Speedway. Sheffield continue to hang on to the race lead as here comes Adam Boughton. Here comes Dylan Picklesheimer, the first driver up there inside our top 6 that came down pit road there during that last caution flag. Now I'm not sure if he took tires or if he just got fuel only and is now starting to push that subject as he's trying to race his way to the front of the field, knowing that we only have one more stop left in this race, or that may have been the final stop for a lot of these drivers as they continue to Sheffield out in front, continue to lead the way, has that fresh air on the nose of that number 1 ride. Laying some great lap times, looking strong out there. Opening up all the drivers back there at Bank. It's Picklesheimer there in second. Adam Boughton back in for Corey Bank. Top 5 on the racetrack. Dalton Wicker there in 6th with Gage Wenzel back in 7th. Then we see that 48 of JJ Moore, Drew King, and Daryl Johnson now running out our top 10 as that racing piece is number 4 line. Those there in that 10th position. Max Cox, Zach Wilson, Brian Fine right there just on the outside looking in of the top 10 right there on the racetrack. Boughton down low looking for this race lead. Boughton looking to try to take this top spot away from that number 1 ride as they continue to duke it out, continue to battle on the field. Quickly, we see Dylan Picklesheimer poking that discord at number 45 right into this battle right into into the mix here, looking to try to split them. Looks down low, goes for a bit of a 3-wide move here down the front straightaway, and they are 3 wide down across the line. As down low, Pickleside with the big one, going to take the race lead. Down across number 1 here, down through for number 1, and he's looking to slide up, hoping to clear these guys, hoping to carry some speed and momentum down the back straightaway, trying to keep them back there, and we'll have to wait and see. As here comes the one right, Sheffield nowhere to go, has to go right to his back bumper, pushing Picklesheimer down into corner. He's going to kill it in front with that big run, the big shove right there, the one right. He's going to take all that speed momentum, sends it in there, deep down low, and unfortunately gets right tight door to door here with that 45 ride, trying to side trap down the front straightaway. Here we go. He's going to slide a couple car lengths back, as here comes that 94 ride of Adam Belkin. Here comes the 17 of Corey Dick right into the battle here at the front of the field as he tries to put on a heck of a race, heck of a show for us, man. Non-stop racing action. Door to door, 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, maybe even a little bit of 5 wide. There are those restarts, and man, it has been a tough one for these drivers. A lot of laps, a lot of different pit strategies that we kind of go through their minds. Different times to go down pit road, when to pit, when not to pit, when to take tires, when not to take tires. Set yourself up for perfection here as look out, contact Gage Wetzel down the racetrack and onto the apron right there. Luckily enough, able to catch that car and keep it rolling, but unfortunately loses all that speed, all that momentum. Slides all the way back now in the 18th position. Here comes the 81, here comes the 11 right. Looks like he's able to get that thing back up to speed and keeps on rolling, but let's take a look back at it as looks like that 36 and 17 Corey Dan can make some contact right there as it looks like he just comes up the racetrack. I think he thought that he was going to be clear in behind this blue Magic number 17 machine. Unfortunately, he was not clear as of yet, and unfortunately for the 24-30 ride, the Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches ride, this one's really going to hurt his chances here this evening. A late race mistake like this and losing all that track positions. Yeah, he comes up the track there, bounces it just off the back bumper of that 17 ride. Luckily enough, Corey did not go around. The 36, though, gets the worst of it, sent down into the infield, sliding through the grass here, and you see all these drivers all of a sudden just steamroll right on and around him here, and let's leave him into dust here this afternoon as the top freight for him out there in this one. We'll have to wait and see if he can battle back, if he can race his way back towards the top 5 head there on the racetrack. As Sean O'Keefe says, go to the front, number 36, go. Cheering on that 36 right, hoping to see him rebound, hoping to see him kind of battle his way back up towards the front of the field here as he was up inside the top 5. Now all of a sudden finds himself outside the top 15 out there on the racetrack. Is a battle for the race lead, and it's still in Picklesheimer from the rear of the field, went from the doghouse, now into the penthouse, here for the 29, or for the 45 ride, as he's up 29 positions. Started all the way back in 30th. He has passed every single driver here tonight to be our race leader here at Auto Club Speedway. That Discord monster Toyota rolling here at the front of the field. Him and Adam Belkin side by side down across the line. But Picklesheimer will lead that lap, and as they battle door to door, it's going to reel in this number 48 line of JJ Moore. JJ is showing he's got a lot of speed in this 48 machine line. They're trying to exalt the Ally Raptor machine rolling there in third once again here this evening. Is Michael Sheffield hanging on here. Sheffield did not come down pit road with everybody else right there, and somehow or another he's just hanging on to it and keeping the Lawrence catch back there at bay and holding on to that fourth position on the racetrack. As here comes Zach Wilson. Wilson once again trying to race his way up and through the field and back to the front of the pack here in this one after leading early in this race and being our pole sitter in that road number 51 line. He's got the speed out of this machine. He has to find his line, got to find a little luck, and hopefully he's trying to go swallow up this number 1 right of Michael Sheffield. Sheffield 3 wide right there in the middle, thinks better of it, rolls out of it a little bit down the back straightaway line with that 51 right of Sam Wilson back up inside the top 4. But out in front, it's Dylan Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer leading the way here with that 48 right of JJ Moore, now onto his back bumper. Adam Belton there in third with Zach Wilson, and Michael Sheffield running out our top 5. Corey Dank, Ryan Fine, Drew King, Justin Hendry, and Emma Likens now back up inside the top 10 here this evening. Dalton Wicker sliding back into the position with Daryl Johnson, Jeremiah Nelson, Gage Wenzel, Kent Mueller, all right here, a great gamble and a great battle here. Driver just around that 15th position this afternoon. Gage looking to continue to keep on racing his way back up towards the front of the field after that contact and mistake on the front straightaway and going for a slide down through that grass and losing virtually about 15 positions out there. He's gained back about 5 or 6 of them and now finds himself sitting here battling for that one spot on the racetrack. Is that HL number 8 right to Kent Mueller rolling to his outside, is out in front, and Dylan Pinkelsteiner continues to lead the way. He's hoping to build a little bit of a gap here between himself and this 48 right of J.J. Moore. Is Moore trying to hang right there with him, run away with it, and trying to use this trap to stick right to the back bumper of that 45 right. Sometimes it's better to be the driver in second here late in these races and just sizing up that race leader, waiting for a time to strike, waiting to make a big move out there on the speedway. Sometimes it works out perfectly, sometimes it hurts out there, but right now it looks like it may be a good run and good guess here with the 48 right of J.J. Moore. Trying to figure out what he needs to do to make the pass here and see what's racing away from Dylan Pinkelsheimer and try to set him up here for a late race move to try to steal this lead and potentially steal this win away. He's only 20 laps left here from Auto Club Speedway now. It seems like not a lot of laps, but here at Auto Club, 42nd plus laps. It definitely takes a little bit, though. Navigate yourself around the speedway and finding a couple caution flags. This race is far from over here this evening, and the way these guys are racing, they're rolling out there on the speedway. We may see at least still a couple caution flags left in this race, but we can also see these guys down as a flag run and put themselves up and in to a bit of a fuel mileage situation here, as we didn't have a bunch of drivers right there coming down pit road on number 66. So a lot of drivers down pit road on lap 66. We didn't see Al Likens come back down pit road there on lap 67. So he's got the most fuel out of everybody here at the front of the field. But a lot of these other drivers down pit road on lap 66, some of them weren't down pit road since lap 54 here for Michael Sheffield. So it's been a little while there for that number 1 ride, and even for all these drivers like Aaron Spears and 21st now. He was last down pit road on lap 49. For Dalton Winker was lap 59, and for these other drivers like Ken Mueller was lap 60 when he was down pit road. So drivers got a lot of different pit strategies here this evening. Is Belton, Al Belton here. He was last down pit road on lap 59. For Corey Dank, he was down pit road on lap number 60. So a bunch of different variations of what drivers are running out there on the racetrack. As 213 Simware says, we're paying for the 95 tonight. On to the next, he says. Brother, sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes it's all you can do is just roll on to the next race. There's a heartbreaker there for Anthony Ludy, as Ludy in that Camry down pit road. The Adidas ride on pit road here this evening. Never the spot you want to be here, as the racing action hasn't even concluded yet today. As Michael Carter says, well, that sucked for our number 18 team, and a top 3 car, just consistently bad luck lately. Yeah, that is a tough one out there, brother. It's a tough way to have your night come to a close, and it's so early in this race, having those issues and not being able to party, not being able to have some fun and try to put yourself up into victory lane. Always a heartbreaker out there, and for a lot of these other drivers, let's say anyway, Jack Simpson, Christopher James, obviously Anthony himself, James Hudson, so many of these drivers that have already called it a night for him, coming back over the racetrack, going back at Jaden Newsom, Timothy Watson, even for the 81 of Scott Shive, has been virtually out of this race since like lap number 8 or 9 out there on the speedway. Chase Abel, multiple laps down back in 22nd. Aaron Spear, multiple laps here all evening long back there in 21st. Tyler Chronister, now he is a few laps down here. He scored back in 20th, and Golden Wicker there in 19th is the last driver on the lead lap. So for Tyler Chronister, at least he's in position where he gets a couple quick caution flags, could get back onto the lead lap. But for the rest of those drivers that are even still rolling out there on the speedway, there are so many drivers that need laps before them, and unfortunately, they're going to probably be trapped a lap down. down across the line. We will click off another lap, and we inch a little bit closer here to the checkered flag. There's only 14 laps left to go here in this one. 14 laps left here this evening for the Hypershift Racing League in the Space Panda 200 here this evening from Auto Club Speedways. Each and every one of these drivers are going to try to rip it away from the field. And now we have to worry about fuel. I'm not sure, Michael or Anthony, if you guys are watching right now, jump into the comment section. Let us know virtually how much fuel you can get out of a run here. When these guys came down pit road on lap number 66, what does that give them? That gives them, what, 34 laps of green flag racing. 34 laps. Can they make it on fuel? Or do we have to see, them come back down pit road? But it may be earlier than they're expecting. Is there some contact back here behind them? And there's the caution flag. Caution flag going to come back out here in this one. Justin Hendry, Al Likens, Brad Fulham all tied up here in this one down the front straightaway. Heavy contact for all these drivers. And unfortunately, this is another tough one here as we see the 54 of Justin Hendry in that gear head Ryan trying to roll to the outside here of Al Likens. Likens down through the middle, and unfortunately it looks like Likens just going to see if he's clear right here, and all of a sudden, yeah, he moves down the track, then trying to stay out of that 51. Actually makes contact there with that 51 rider. It just shoves him up the speedway right into the lap here of that 54 rider. Justin Hendry, nowhere for him to go. Him and Likens side together up on the outside lane, and then they both wash back down the racetrack here. And, oh, man, right there. Oh, man, Brad Fulham so close to getting through it, so close to missing this one, and all of a sudden, for this 21 ride, just going to see this 54 come down the track and clip him right there. Heavy contact, heavy damage there, clipping that 21. He's going to spin around, go for a couple of loop-de-loops, and looks like he's taking that car right down pit side and potentially off the racetrack here. We'll have to wait and see, as it looks like Johnson's down pit road. Brad Fulham is still down pit lane, and now looks like he has potentially gone a lap down here as well. And looks like he may be calling a night. There it is. He has taken that car back down behind pit wall. So a caution flag, and now we do see the 99 ride, Tyler Chronister. Chronister, he's going to be okay with that yellow flag, as that's going to get him back onto, at least another lap back here. Quite still on the lead lap, but man, every single caution flag could get him a little bit closer and closer here. And now, big question mark for a lot of these drivers. Do you come down pit road? And here we go. We're going to see pretty much everybody here still in the lead lap head down pit side. Brian Fine, Adam Belton, Dylan Picklesheimer all down pit road. For the 48 of J.J. Moore, though, he's going to stay out. So J.J. Moore, Gage Wenzel, Jonathan Conswell, our top three out there on the speedway, they are going to stay out on the racetrack here and not come down pit road. So that pit road strategy here playing a bit of a wild one here in this one. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Are they just going to get consumed and swallowed up and sent to the back of the pack here in a quick hurry? Or do we see them hang on, maybe use this track position to put themselves up into a winning position here this evening, as J.J. Moore has had a lot of speed out of this Raptor Exalta Ally number 48 ride all evening long, and out that clean air back onto the front nose of this Raptor machine. We'll see if he can try to keep all these drivers back there at bay. For Gage Wenzel, he'd love to jump out in front, be able to lead for the first time here this evening in that 36 ride. And Jonathan Cogswell, Adam Belton and Michael Sheffield are top five out there on the racetrack. As Michael Carter said, let's park it in victory lane number 94. RNS win would make me feel better, at least. Laugh out loud. It would definitely feel a little bit better seeing what your teammates will pull off the dub out there on the speedway. That is for certain. As we're going to get a quick word in here from our newest sponsors here this afternoon over at Dr. Auto Art. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go, back to green flag racing here at Auto Club Speedway. Inside, 10 laps left to go here at Auto Club Speedway. For these drivers, they know it is their time to shine, for them to try to put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening. As different fuel strategies, different tire strategies, everything about to collide here at Auto Club is back to green flag racing. A great jump, a great restart there for JJ Moore. Moore will quickly open up a bit of a lead down into corner number one. He slides up the racetrack and has a lot of clean air here by himself, and looking at just trying to continue to pull away from the 36 right against Wenzel and that 84 Jonathan Coswell. Right down to his inside as here comes Boughton. Here comes Brian Fine. Here comes some of these newer tires potentially out there on the racetrack as Boughton just hooked up on the inside lane and pushing his way to the front of the field. Now going to jump down to the bottom side here. Looking for a big run. Looking to slide out clear that 36 against Wenzel. Wenzel has some room down low. See if he goes for the bit of a crossover here as a look at this field, man. Battling nose to tail out there on the racetrack. Door to door, 3 wide, 4 wide out there on the speedway. Everybody looking to try to put themselves up into victory lane, man. Some great racing action here this evening with these drivers. And the middle these corners, man, spread out 3 wide. Even a little 1 wide out there on the racetrack, and everyone slowing down for 1 little bit. It is all taken to give out there on the racetrack now. You're going to take every single inch, every single moment that you can to try to put yourself into victory lane. This 94 ride of Adam Boughton now battling door to door with JJ Moore for the race lead. Is down across the line. They will click off. 8 laps left to go. It is now 7 laps left to go here in this one. You're a little quiet in the blimp cam. Yeah, the blimp cam for some reason was super loud right here. I'm not too sure why the blimp cam was so loud out there compared to all the other camera angles, but we noticed that as we continue to keep on battling, keep on racing here. The 94 right of Boughton now out in front. He was one of those drivers that came down pit road there on lap number 89. Dylan Picklesheimer now, he's up into second as JJ Moore trying to hold on to third here with Jeremiah Nelson. Gage Wenzel, door to door out there on the racetrack. Is interesting to see kind of what happens here. If we get another late race caution flag, do we see these drivers that didn't come down pit road there and tell pit sign here? And these other drivers like Gage Wenzel and crew come down pit road and vice versa. They didn't have the better tires, didn't have the position though, and have to try to race their way up and through the field for Adam Boughton. Did not take long for him to jump up and take that race lead for Picklesheimer and now Jeremiah Nelson, all able to race their way up inside the top 3 here rather quickly on the racetrack as you see Al Lankin still trying to find his way around JJ Moore out there on the speedway. Now here comes our Wilson, early race lead with that 51 right as Zach Wilson. Wilson looking to put himself back up inside the top 5 as he'll roll up and down and around that as there's Corey Dank as well. Corey up into position number 6 as Michael Sheffield back there in 7. Darryl Johnson and you are all right there duking it out. You can see Dalton Waker and Max Coscott trying to poke their nose into this fight here on the racetrack as well. As you can see, that 36 of Gage Wenzel unfortunately continue to fall farther and farther behind out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, one of those drivers that did not just come down pit road and way off the main slide all the way back down to 11th here, and really hoping to have that caution flag, hoping to have that extra set of fresh tires back down there behind pit wall to try to put himself up into a good strategy leader in this race. So right now, as we say, clean and green, this strategy is definitely hurting him, and he continues to fall farther and farther behind. That's there on the speedway. Now all of a sudden, both rolling inside the top 10 here with this strategy. Boughton out in front, continue to lead the way here, but Dylan Picklesheimer trying to hunt him down. Picklesheimer looking to try to jump up there and battle for this race win as Jeremiah Nelson, Al Likens, and Zach Wilson and the rest of the field back there in tow, trying to hunt down this 94 ride here this evening. As Boughton looking to try to put himself up and into victory lane with only 3 more laps left to go in. Closer and closer to that checker flag, and now you see a move down to the inside. Here comes that 45 ride. Dylan Picklesheimer again serving at the rear of the field, and now late in win this race will take the race lead back away. Belton back into position number 2, and Dylan Picklesheimer, our new race leader, with 2 laps left to go here at Auto Club Speedway. 2 laps left, and it's a duke out here. It is a beautiful Thursday night showdown between Dylan Picklesheimer and Adam Belton. And as they continue to move around, they continue to battle here for this race lead. It's bringing Jeremiah Nelson right into this battle. He would love to try to get that treetop. 35 right up and into victory lane here this evening. He'd love to join this fight. So would Al Likens, 49, Zach Wilson, and the rest of the field here this evening. As Belton and Picklesheimer door-to-door down out of corner number 4. It's a drag race back down to that white flag here at Auto Club Speedway. There's one more lap around here this evening. They're still door-to-door for the race lead as they send it deep down into corner number 1. Who will get the run? Who will get the right gear and the right move here to put themselves into victory lane? And Picklesheimer able to put the hammer down and clear that number 94. Belton slides back to second, and now here comes that 35 of Jeremiah Nelson. Nelson down low, they're battling now for second, and that's exactly what Dylan Picklesheimer wanted to see. But here comes Belton trying to get a big run down at a corner number 4. The 45 right though, out of 4 and back down the straightaway. No one will catch him as Picklesheimer goes from the doghouse to the penthouse here this evening and picks up the win here in the Space Panda 200, presented by the Hypershift Racing League. Adam Belton right there in second. Jeremiah Nelson coming home in third, but it's all Dylan Picklesheimer as Dylan picks up the win and pulls this Discord Monster Energy Toyota Camry number 45 right up and into the Auto Club Speedway victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for that 45 right. Let's see some congratulations up in the chat right now as Picklesheimer gets the dub here this evening. Belton back in second, Jeremiah Nelson there in third. Al Likens and Corey Tank rounding out our top 5 with Zach Wilson, Daryl Johnson, Kent Mueller, Michael Sheffield, and Dalton Wicker. Our top 10 here this evening, as it looks like teammates out there on the racetrack here potentially gonna party hardy out there on the racetrack as Al Likens and the number 45 rider Dylan Picklesheimer backing up onto the front straightaway here, and now looks like his teammates are going to surround him here and maybe try to congratulate him and celebrate and party and have some fun here with this win this afternoon as Picklesheimer gets it done and pulls himself up and into victory lane. We'll get ready to pull all of our top 3 up here into the booth for some post-race interviews. There's post-race interviews coming up next, and for these drivers, some of them are probably going to be a little happy. Some of them probably going to be a little bit sad about how things turned out. We'll wait for Dylan to jump up into the waiting room here to get him in for his post-race interview. Here comes the 4 right into this front row celebration here. And it's him and his team partying here this evening. Let's get Picklesheimer up and into the booth as he's burning down the house and celebrating a big win here this evening at Auto Club Speedway in the Space Panda 200. Hey Dylan, it's Aaron up here on the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir, I do. I have a copy. Can you hear me?
I can, Dylan, man. Well, what a run, what a drive for you here in this one, man. Take us back through this race as you go from the doghouse all the way to the penthouse here this evening and park that 45 right up and in victory lane here this evening, up 29 positions, and now getting to celebrate and burn down the house here with your team on the front straightaway. Take us back through this one and what's going through your mind here as you're able to burn down the house here this afternoon.
Man, that was my last race of probation, so I had to start in the back, and I didn't really know what to expect. I knew I had a fast car. I didn't know how good it was on the long run, but that thing was a hot rod on the long run. I got up to 3rd at one point, and then I got loose on a restart, went back to 20th, and then got back up to 8th, and slowly got my way back up there and took the lead. Man, I was able to just hold the 48 off there before that caution. I thought he got me, but I was about to get him right back, and it was just hard fought, man. It's hard to come from the back with these guys. There's some quick guys in here. I never imagined winning one of these things, man. It's awesome. I love it.
Absolutely. It's always very, very special when you're able to jump up here and put yourself into victory lane in any style of a race, especially when you look through the field and see how talented and how fast these guys are and keeping them all back there at bay and obviously doing it the hard way, man. Starting at the rear of the field, driving up and picking up this win, man. Keeping drivers like Adam Boughton back there at bay and your teammate Jeremiah Nelson, Al Likens, Corey Dank, all these fast cats back there behind you, man. But take us back through these closing laps. Obviously, we saw some different pit strategies there with that later caution flag, and we saw some drivers stay out and some drivers, pretty much everybody except for the top 4 or 5 there for that restart, come down pit side, you included, and all of a sudden you guys are just able to quickly pick your way through them and race your way to the front of the field here, and then you gotta duke it out door to door there with Adam Boughton in these closing laps, and it was a give and take position right there, as it could have went either way. It could have went your way, it could have went Boughton's way. Luckily enough, you were able to find that gear down out of corner number 2 and open up that lead, and then as they started to battle a little bit down the back straightaway and into corner number 3 for that second spot, just allowed you to pull away and pick up this win today.
Yeah, for sure. When we pitted, I was thinking about taking 2, but I took 4, and then I think I came out 7th. I think the only one that I might have lost to was the 48. He was a hot rod. But he stayed out, 36 stayed out, and then a couple more guys. We took the restart. I kind of had to not rough up the 84, but I had to kind of just like hope he lifts and gives me the spot at that point because I was wide open, and then I had 4 tires, so I think I was the freshest on 4, and then I got by the other 2 because they didn't pit. I don't know why they didn't pit, but it was easy to get by them, and then it was a battle with the 94, man. I knew I was faster because he took 2, and I had 4, so I was just trying to set him up, and I did. I got by him, and then I clipped the apron right after I got by him in 2, and then he got a run. We were door by door for a couple laps, and then ultimately he got loose, and I came home with the dub.
Absolutely. Yes, you park it up into the Auto Club Speedway victory lane here this evening. Dylan, who would you like to thank, man, for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
First and foremost, I want to thank my wife for letting me do this, because she puts up with it. I race probably 3 or 4 nights a week, man. I love doing it. I want to shout out you, obviously. I want to shout out my mom, my dad, my father-in-law, and then my teammates, James Hudson, Chris Sofeld, Al Likens, Daryl Johnson, Jeremiah Nelson. He almost came out of there with the win there at the end. And then I want to shout out Fred Pennington. He was our spotter tonight, and he was kind of coaching me through that last 25 laps. And man, he helped so much tonight. It was so fun, and yeah, that's all I got for you, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, Dylan, congratulations on the win here this evening, brother. Many more to come here in the Hypershift Racing League. But, brother, enjoy this one, but don't party too hard down there in Victory Lane, as we'll see you back out on the racetrack next Thursday.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Dylan Pinkelsheimer. Dylan picking up the win. What a run and what a drive here this evening for the 45 ride, as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the 94, Adam Boughton. The opposite side here of the enjoyment is the disappointment here for the number 94, is oh so close to tasting victory here this afternoon. We'll pull him up into the booth here for his post-race interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our second place driver, Adam Boughton. Hey, Adam, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, I do.
Adam, man, a solid run, a great drive here for you this afternoon, even after getting tied up in a pretty heavy contact out there, pretty heavy wreck early in this race, but you're able to get that car repaired, keep on rolling out there on the speedway. Then you're in this race, man, multiple times seeing you up inside the top 3, top 5, and battling for this race lead, and it comes right down to these closing laps as you, in the 45 ride of Dylan Pinkelsheimer, duking it out here for the win, and unfortunately, just looks like on that final lap, he was able to get that better run down through corner number 1 and 2, and down the back straightaway, was able to take this win away from you, man. Take us back through this race, and what's kind of going through your mind as you're able to park it up here on the podium?
Well, it was a lot more hectic than I was anticipating it to be. And really, a lot of intense door banging racing for the whole race. At the beginning there, botched qualifying a little bit, but still managed to start P5, and Unfortunately, we got lucky, even though we unfortunately got Turner trying to avoid the I think it was the 48 and the 24 when they got together there early in the race. So we took a nice little spin through the infield. Luckily, we didn't hit anything and was able to come down, put 4 tires on, and started working my way back through the field. Um, and then from there was just dipping and dodging most of the chaos from there. And then with that, I got off cycle a little bit, so I had to do a little pit strategy. And ultimately, on that last caution, I took 2 tires, tried to get at least try to get the control car, but a couple cars stayed out, so at least I was the first car on fresh tires, somewhat fresh tires, to try to get around everybody faster. But I think ultimately, because of that the tire strategy I had to play before that last caution, I think I had a little too many laps on the left side tires, and it just ultimately gave up there at the end. And Dylan was able to get around me and secure the win.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's part of the love and hate relationship with the strategies out there on the racetrack. Is sometimes they go perfectly your way, other times they just give up on you a little bit too soon. If this was a 99-lap race, you probably would have been up here in victory lane. But Belton, you got to settle for position number 2 here this evening, brother. Who'd you like to thank for still a very strong run and great performance out there at Auto Club Speedway?
I'll give a shout out to you for doing an awesome job on the broadcast, like always, and then a shout out to my RMS teammates. Had a solid run for the most part through the whole race. A couple of them got caught up in a few incidences towards the beginning and end, but ultimately we were able to salvage a pretty decent points day across the board.
Absolutely. It's always good when you guys get some good points, have a good day at the racetrack, and obviously when you can jump up here into the broadcast booth means that it was definitely a good day as you were able to keep a lot of drivers still back there behind you, but you were hoping for one more here this evening, but you settled for second here this afternoon, Adam. We can't wait to see it back out there on the racetrack next Thursday, hopefully one spot better and up in victory lane yourself.
Yeah, next week's going to be a challenge. The longest race of the year. We're looking forward to Charlotte.
Alrighty, well, we can't wait to see you guys there.
No, you have a good one.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Adam Belton. Belton going home there in position number 2. Solid run, solid drive there for that 94 machine as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher here this evening, the 35 of Jeremiah Nelson. Let's pull Jeremiah up and into the booth here this evening. Hey, Jeremiah, it's Aaron up here on the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Jeremiah, man, what a run, what a drive for you here this evening as you're able to get that 35 right up here onto the podium once again here this season as, man, you've came onto the scene, you've been having a very, very fast car, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of luck or a little bit of strategy, and here tonight just seemed like a very fast car and a little bit of strategy there with that late race caution flag, and you're able to race your way around all those other drivers on the opposite side of the pit strategy and put yourself up here into position number 3.
Yeah, man, I saved a set of tires. I had a set land, and I figured, that would be a good shot for a good finish. And we had that was what we had, and all them guys stayed out, and it ended up paying off for us. And I want to say I'm sorry to James, the 28. That's my fault. I just want to apologize to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, Robin is racing out there on the racetrack. Sometimes things happen a little too quickly and can't react or can't get out of the throttle or anything a little too soon. And it's all about those milliseconds. Unfortunate contact there between guys, but nonetheless, you kept on battle, kept your head in the game, and able to park it up here on the podium with your teammate picking up the win here. That'd be pretty cool being able to watch him duke it out there with Boughton there for multiple laps, and you're just trying to hunt them down, trying to race your way into that fight as well as Al Likens, your other teammate, right there with you.
Yeah, I think Al had the fastest car here tonight. He just had a lot of misfortune, but he rebounded to top 5. I just struggled with the balance on the car tonight. I just really tight to the center. And I've always struggled at Auto Club, but just proud for a top 3, and I want to thank my teammates. I want to thank you for broadcasting, and that's it.
Beauty. Well, Jeremiah, another great run, another great performance out there on the racetrack for you. We can't wait to see you back at Charlotte here next Thursday night and see if you can finish a couple spots better and put yourself up here in victory lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for the number 35, Jeremiah Nelson. Nelson coming home there in position number 3. Solid run, solid drive there for that 35 ride here this evening. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the racing action has concluded here this evening. The battles have been battled, and the drivers are now loading up their rides and getting some Gatorades and getting ready to probably go to bed and get ready for work tomorrow for their Friday night shift. And unfortunately for us, we'll be doing this exact same thing. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. We appreciate each and every single one of you for coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares, any of the new followers or subscribers. We can't thank you enough for becoming a part of the Peacemaker family here this evening. And if you haven't already, it's not too late, man. Hit that like button, hit that follow or subscribe button if you're watching over on YouTube right now. Hit that like and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'll catch you back here in the next one. We'll be back in action tomorrow night. New series getting underway tomorrow evening that we are looking forward to. So it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of great racing here tomorrow evening, and we can't wait to see each and every one of you up in the grandstands cheering them drivers on. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, peace and love, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fight. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake.